I'm 2 weeks out from my 9th HYROX, and there are many things that I wish I had known before my first one. From how to train on fatigued legs, from when to arrive, how to eat, what to eat, how the start line works, and what to do after you finish. So today I'm breaking down the entire HYROX experience from training to race day recovery. I'm coming from the experience perspective, not from a pro expert perspective, okay? So take this for what you will, but I think it'll be helpful. I've completed 8 HYROX races and my 9th is coming up, like I mentioned, in 2 weeks. I've done women's open, women's doubles, and mixed doubles with my husband. So 3 different divisions. I'd love to do relay one day. We talk about it, me and the girls, all the time, but we haven't committed to a race. We thought about Nashville, but we were so worried on trying to get tickets for our own individual and team races that relay was on the back burner, but that's going to come in the future, maybe Atlanta. Let's talk about how to train. HYROX consists of 8 1K races, and that's about 0.62 miles. That is the majority of the race. You'll spend, depending on time-wise, I think my run times are around like 40 something minutes running. You got to think it's 5 miles total. And a good way to train is to try and build your aerobic capacity. Of course, speed work is good, but you need that aerobic threshold to be able to sustain. Like think about just running if you had to run 5 miles straight. But this is broken up into 8 different runs, but you also have functional exercises in between that will also fatigue you. Early on when I started my training, a lot of people mentioned that training for a half marathon will help you get to a good and comfortable pace for HYROX. It's great preparation. Well, 8 races in, I am actually training for a half marathon. So I have days where I'm doing tempo runs, I'm doing threshold runs, interval runs. So it's different focuses, which is going to help build for my HYROX race. Now, I did do a half marathon, I think March, April, but I didn't train for it because I had been doing Orange Theory and running. I didn't train. And I had also done a couple HYROX races already. This year, I just ran it, but I wanted to actually train so I can see if I can improve my half marathon pace to under 2 hours. So I'm actually have a running program, and I did a video on how Chat has built a dashboard for me to train for my half marathon. But running is the major, most important thing that you can do. If you work out and lift and are strong, I think the stations, just to get through them, I think you'll be fine. Now, if you're going for a specific, let me finish the ski erg or let me finish the sled push pull in a certain time, yes, you want to train for those. But I think if you have an overall understanding of fitness and you have a good base, focus on the running. Overall, you need to be able to run about 5 miles, but most importantly, to get through all the stations and your runs, train on fatigue leg. So do like a half mile run, do one of the stations, do another half mile run. Like that's a good simulation for race day to help and get you ready and get you used to training on fatigue legs, because the adrenaline, the music, the atmosphere, the excitement, the nerves, all the things, like taking all that into play, your legs are going to be tired. So you just don't want to get out and just focus on running long distance miles every week. No, you want to train as if you're getting ready for your race. So you want to be able to train on fatigue legs. So that is one of the biggest things as well. In addition to running and improving your aerobic threshold, you also want to train on fatigue legs. Also, one of the big things as far as like the race, you need to make sure you understand the different standards. Like when you do this ski, you need to make sure it hits 1,000, and then the judge lets you know like, okay, you're good to go, you can run. So make sure you look over the rules as far as like the burpee, broad jumps, and making sure your chest touches the ground. And when you jump, making sure your feet are not, I think it's about 5 inches that you have, but just make sure you know all the rules and you don't get disqualified or you don't get a penalty. Also, do know which things, if you do get a penalty or you do get disqualified, a penalty time-wise, I'd rather that than to get DQ'd. So just make sure you look over the rule book for HYROX and don't just jump into it as far as like the laps and how many laps you need to do for the farmer's carry. That's important too. So just make sure you know for each station what the requirements are. Wall balls, making sure your butt goes below parallel. It's so important. How can you get a no rep, and making sure you hit the right targets. The women's target is the lower one. The men's target is the higher one. And please look over the rule book. Don't just go in there blind and thinking, oh yeah, I'm athletic, I can run this. Just know the specifics for HYROX. When you are training, as you get into your training, make sure you play around with different gels and fuel for race day. Don't wait until you get to the venue to all of a sudden test out a gel or an energy drink or electrolyte tabs. When you're doing your training, make sure you are incorporating those things before race day, race week, so that you know how your body responds. The last thing you want to do is to spike your heart rate when you take a gel with caffeine in it that your body's not used to on race day, okay? So be smart about that. Make sure you test out gels ahead of time. To prepare and get you ready for HYROX, some people do HYROX simulations, some don't, like a full-blown HYROX simulations. There are gyms, we have to travel to do a full HYROX simulation because there's not a gym around here that has all the equipment enough to run a simulation. And so some people do HYROX simulations, some don't. I have a Peloton everything. They have their version of I forgot what it's called, but it's like a 75-minute workout. It's really good. I may do it Tuesday unless I go to Charlotte to try out a HYROX class there. But HYROX simulations give you an idea of where you're starting. And it's probably good to do it maybe a month into your training and you still have like 2 or 3 months before you're actually going to race so that you can get an idea, okay, this is about what time, the time that I'll finish my HYROX race, and give you some things to work on. So I would look in your area to see if you have gyms locally that offer HYROX simulations, or if you have all the equipment at your house, do your own simulation. Let's talk about race week preparation. When I first started, I didn't taper. We literally raced. I think we might have rested the day before, maybe two days before. We didn't do any strenuous exercise. As I got into it, the first time I did it, I hit a PR where I had a taper week where I really pulled back my training. You think like, okay, let me train, and then go do my race, but your body doesn't really have time to recover, especially if you're doing like really strenuous exercises. What I started to do, and I think it was, I want to say Atlanta. It might have been my second solo HYROX, and I tapered. I think 1 week before my race was like my last strenuous exercise or strenuous workout. After that, I started tapering and pulling back on what I did for the rest of the week, where maybe 2 days up until HYROX, like the most I would do was just walking. So play around and see. I know some fitness junkies, it's hard to like pull back and not do a lot, but your body needs it so that you give it time to rest and it's ready to go on race day. Also with caffeine, like I do energy drinks, especially if I'm going to have a really high intensity workout. A week before, I'll stop the caffeine, stop the energy drinks, and then race day, my body has had some time to get away from it. Then hopefully it'll provide me with additional fuel. 3 days before your race, they'll release the schedule. On the website, you'll see the different time frames of when each division is going to go. So don't get stuck on that number. They may change it. They did. It was a race this past season that they changed the time frame, and I was so glad that I look ahead of time. So although it gives you a range, you don't know until 3 days before. So you don't have to email anybody or worry. They usually do it 3 days before the start of HYROX. They usually release everybody's. So I say 3 days before but I'm pretty sure it's 3 days before the first day of racing that they'll upload it to the website. And then as well as you'll get an email to say your race time. You can check out and find out your race time. So that's 3 days. And usually before that, maybe a week before that, they release the venue map, and it'll show the layout of it. It'll also give you a guide at the bottom that says how many laps for your first run, and then how many laps for your second through your 8th run, as well as when to go in on wall balls. So just be on the lookout for maps. You'll see a lot of people push out videos to go and explain, all right, lap for the first run, you go this many laps, go in on this, so there'll be plenty of information out there. And when you're in the tunnel right before you're about to go out, they also have a video that explains to you, or no, maybe not the video. The MC will say in on two, everybody say it. So just so it's in your head, but they'll explain when to go in, if there's a separate wall ball entrance. So they will also go over it again in the tunnel. And there's several different systems that people use. Some people have like a hair tie, rubber band, okay, just to keep track with your laps. They also have screens displaying. Sometimes they don't work, so you can't rely on those screens. And it'll say run. And then if you have 2 runs, it'll say run again, or it'll say station. I can't recall if it says station, or we'll just say it says station. We'll just say station 1. So then I know, okay, I'm going in and I'm going to ski. Again, do not always rely on the screen. And a lot of times, like during my runs, I'm like, okay, one more. Or I'm like, okay, what did I just do? All right, now I'm going here. Just, again, try and clear your mind and just focus on the race to say, all right, I know I have to go in. I got skier next, or I got burpees next. That's all you should be thinking about. You shouldn't be thinking about anything else, because again, you can get penalty or disqualified if you miss a lap, or if you go to the wrong station, if you go out of order. Be mindful of where you are and have your own system. Don't always rely on the screen. Okay, let's talk about packing for HYROX. I have the big HYROX bag. So typically I use and bring that bag when I race, and I have packing cubes. So it makes it so much easier, and I can make the most of using that bag. Sometimes, depending on the plane, I usually fly out of Colombia most times, and the overhead bin, not good. So I'm like stuffing my bag underneath the seat, which I don't like. So I did say I was going to get the smaller bag and then just have my carry-on. I have the leather bag, the HYROX bag. I do have that. So I said that I was going to get a smaller HYROX bag so I can put my patch on. I have to have the bag for my patch at the end, and then use my small carry-on bag for that. But some important things that you should pack: your shoes, maybe an extra pair of shoes, your slides for afterwards, your gels, any gels that you're going to use. I use salt chews if you need salt chews. Electrolytes are so important to drink beforehand. I usually get my energy drinks because most of the time we're traveling. Now, Atlanta, it'll be local, so we'll drive, but I usually find a CVS or something around the day we get in and then grab my energy drink. So just keep that in mind, but also keep it on your list to grab when you do get to your hotel or get in town. Make sure you have extra sports bras. Make sure you have extra socks, leggings. It's always good to have way too much because you never know what could happen on race day. Most importantly, make sure you have your ID, okay, in your ticket and information. And when you check in, if you're checking in with a partner, you both have to check in at the same time. So just make sure you have all your IDs and everything ready to go when you go up to the desk. Now, you can't have any headphones or anything like that. You can't take your phone with you. You can't have any of that. So they do have a bag drop off, which is great. And it'll specifically tell you where the bag drop off is. They'll put your number. You don't have to worry about anybody taking your stuff. There are volunteers and even some of the people that they hire, but they literally just put in your bag on a shelf in an numbered order. No worries about anything in your bag. And if you are, just stuff it to the bottom. Now, I'm pretty sure if they see somebody digging through somebody's bag, they're going to say something, but your bag is safe. So they do have a bag drop off. You don't have to, and it doesn't have to be a clear bag. So you don't have to worry about your stuff. Even if you're traveling and there are times where I think it was Phoenix. No, but I was able to go back to the hotel. I was going to say that I had to leave my bag, but I left it in the volunteer area once I checked out of the hotel because I was flying back out that night after I volunteered. Your stuff is safe. Also, any post-race clothes, if you want to change out toiletries, you never know, last minute stuff, bring first aid kit stuff, pack more than what you think you need. Allergy medicine, it never fails that when I travel, like my allergies, I get stuffy. So make sure you have that. I think that's about it for packing. Any food or fuel. A couple races, I cramped up bad, so I'll have like sodium-rich food like pretzels, pickles, and Tavius brings pickle juice. So just have all the things that you may need that will help you get through your race. I know, and I mentioned electrolytes to pack in your bag. Make sure you're already drinking electrolytes. I'm 2 weeks out. Like, it's a daily thing that I'm getting electrolytes in. So just make sure you are drinking electrolytes and not just water. Because again, I had issues with cramping. Now, throughout the venue in the Rock Zone, they do have water, they have Red Bull, and they have electrolytes most times. Keep that in mind so you know which one you're grabbing. Red Bull, not so much, but all the other things, or you may need it right at the end, right before wall balls, whatever works for you. Now, your race day plan, I always, whenever I find out my race time, I immediately put it in chat and I'm like, this is my race time. Tell me how I'm going to feel that day. And it'll also tell me like the night before, this is what you should have. Depending on my race time, it'll map out like not a lot of fiber. Keep that in mind the day before, the day of, to not have a lot of fiber because you don't want to have to go to the bathroom. Okay. Luckily, I've not had to use a bathroom when I'm racing, but they are usually our bathrooms on the course. I want to say New York. I'm not even sure if New York had bathrooms like on the course, but typically there are bathrooms on the course to stop because everything is inside except New York. So when you do find your time, that's how I map out what I'm going to eat. I make sure I get enough carbs the night before. I make sure I get carbs the day of. That's a good way if you're not sure how to fuel your body, is to say, and then like this is any issues, even when I start having the leg cramps, that's where like, hey, you need to be eating pretzels or eating something with salt in it the day before. So that's a good way to figure out how to fuel your body properly for race day once you find out your time. And it also gives me like, this is when you should have your salt chew. This is when you should drink your electrolytes. Again, tell it how you typically fuel for, or if I need a waffle, Stinger waffles, it'll tell me like, this is when so it times out everything perfectly. And post race, enjoy it, celebrate. That's when we usually have burgers, fries, or pizza or something good because we've been like holding off, and really celebrate what you just accomplished. So make sure that you keep in mind that your motivation is that post race celebratory meal. I usually have a gel sometime that morning of or pre-race. And then I always have one in my pocket. So I have a full goo whenever it times it for me. And then during the race, which works for me, is after burpees, I usually have one of the big HYROX gels and I put that in my pocket. I always wear leggings with pockets because I don't want to wear a belt or I don't want to hold anything. So I always have something with pockets. If I need candy, if I need salt chews, everything is in my pocket. But I wait to open my gel till after burpees because who wants to be doing burpees and you smash gel in your pocket? And that's after station 4. As soon as I leave out, catch my breath, I'll open up my gel and drink it before I make it to row. Keep that in mind. Again, try to figure out what works in the timing for your race, but that's when I usually open my gel. And then I'll have it. I don't drink the full, I guess drink or eat. I guess it's drink. I don't drink the full right then. I'll take a couple sips of it and then fold it down and then put it back in my pocket. And then throughout the race, if I need it again after the ski, after lunges before, I usually take a salt chew before the lunges because that's where my legs, I felt cramping up really bad. So I'll take a salt chew right before I go into lunges, and then gel, if I'm going to have any more, it'll be right before wall balls, and then that's it. And I've never finished, and those are big gels, that HYROX one, but I haven't finished a full one once I opened it. I just take it as I need throughout the race. And again, I said you have electrolytes, you have water, you have Red Bull when you're in the Rock Zone. So keep that in mind as well. And if you do want to hold your own water bottle, you have to, if you bring it, you have to make sure you put it in the trash or hold on to it the entire time. You can have gloves, you can have all that stuff, but you have to hold on to it. Now, if you have spectators, they cannot hand you anything. You will get DQ'd if somebody hands you something. Whatever you have on you, completely fine, but nobody can hand you anything. So also keep that in mind. Checking in the morning of, before you could check in whenever, we would go there when we did Atlanta, and when I did Boston, we could go, I want to say I might've changed in Anaheim, might've changed in Anaheim, that they give you 90 minutes before your race time. So don't go in thinking you can check in, drop your bag, warm up. No, you can't get your athlete stuff until 90 minutes before your race time. Now, if you want to go the morning of and get your spectators band, because it comes with a spectators band and your athletes band, you can go so you can watch and scope out the venue, which I do think it's a great idea, especially when you're racing. If you don't think you can get all that done in 90 minutes, but I think you can. But if you just want to look at the venue, to go there early, to go shopping, but 90 minutes is when you can get your number written on your arm. You can't go and get that ahead of time. Now, they might be lenient a little bit before that, but don't think you can go 2-3 hours beforehand and get checked in. And then once you do that, you can drop your bag at the bag drop, and then they'll let you in at a certain time. When they have it, it's completely different now. Before, you can just walk in and warm up as long as you saw the athlete band. Then now, I think when I did Phoenix, it was based on like maybe an hour or so before you're about to race, or maybe 30 minutes. So they let you in the area where you can warm up, which is highly important. Have your warm-up routine ready. They have all the things there so you can practice and, again, warm up your legs and body. Highly recommend running, getting your heart rate up, so that, when you first start running, you got to flesh it out a little bit and get those legs going. Get that done in the warm-up area rather than on your first run. The number on your arm is your race time, as well as just your number. 10 minutes before, you can start lining up, and then they'll bring you into the tunnel area, and the MC will hype you up, which is great. You'll high-five everybody, give you a motivational speech. Then I think maybe 3 minutes out, the countdown video. But again, they go over the laps. They'll let you know, do not cross the white line, because that's when it activates your chip to go. You want to make sure you don't. Now, once the time 3, 2, 1 go, you don't have to immediately rush out. It is based on your chip and your ankle. So, if you want to be at the back of the pack or whatever, so you're not just fighting with everybody to get out there and all the excitement, just don't sit there and lollygag a minute after your start time. Just be at the back of the pack and then run out so you have space. So just know it doesn't start, even though the countdown starts, it doesn't start till you actually physically, because your monitor will be on your leg. It doesn't start until you physically cross the line. Make sure you turn that in, because they'll charge you, I think, $100-$150 for that. So just make sure after you take your picture at the end, you turn that in. They have a water station in the warm-up area. They have water and Red Bull electrolytes as well. No, they don't have electrolytes in the warm-up area. They just have water and Red Bull. Now, if that changes, it could. But keep in mind, they do have, if you need a last minute, take something in and have some water, they do have water and Red Bull at the warm-up station. And then, as I mentioned, in the rock zone, they do have electrolytes, water, regular water, and then Red Bull. Keep in mind, though, you want to try and move through the rock zone. And as you start racing, you'll see how much time you spend, and try and shave off. Just keep those legs moving. Even though they're fatigued, just try and keep jogging and moving through the stations and not walk, because that time does add up. Let's talk about the stations, the breakdown. As I mentioned, 8 1K runs and then 8 functional stations. The first one is the ski erg. You have 1,000 meters on the ski erg. And with the ski erg, make sure you are hinging, okay? It is a hinge and then you pull, okay? Just be mindful of hinging, and you don't have to pull all the way down. There's some good videos out there. I have a couple starred that, again, I'm not an expert. It's just a sport that I love, and watch some videos. But just know how to properly do it so you're not fatiguing. It's the first station. You don't want to burn out on the first station, and then you can't finish the rest of the race. So again, ski erg, 1,000 meters. With the ski, with the row, it's all about pacing. It's not trying to rush and get through it as quickly as possible. Get into a steady rhythm. Use a 500-meter split time. If you times that number by 2, 500 meters, 1,000, you have 1,000 on both. It'll tell you how long it'll take you to finish that station. So just get in a rhythm. And if you have a number in mind, again, steady, try and get in a groove. It's not about rushing and burning out and fatiguing the first station. And then after that, as soon as you get done, you'll see the check mark, but just make sure judge gives you the thumbs up that you can leave, and then run through the rock zone. Make sure you go in the out arch, not out the in arch. Be mindful of that, and grab electrolytes if you need it, but just keep moving. Always if I need to grab it, throw it and go, and then do your laps. And then you come in. Station number 2, which is my favorite, is the sled push. For this one, what I used to when I first started, I would push all the way down to the end, take a break, all the way down to the other end, take a break. So now, again, from training and learning, I'll go push halfway, take a couple breaths, push the other half, take a couple breaths. So I always break in between. You got to do what's best for you, grip wise. Okay, I'm going to put this down. I'll have my palms facing and touching the bars and my shoulders pushing up against it and leaning and pushing the sled. I wouldn't lift it off the ground, but just push that one. And as I went through the performance one, they do recommend like switching both and then, pushing that way. But I've always done it the other way. I'm going to see maybe in DC, maybe I'll do both. Maybe halfway I'll switch it and try that position and see. Now I haven't trained in sled push. I usually get through sled push in like 2 minutes and something. That's my station. And so just figure out what technique works for you. Just make sure you push the sled over the line. Okay, there's a line that you have to go over. Just make sure. I mean, that's an easy. Don't get penalty because you didn't push it over the line. Don't try to cheat your system. And then you do another 1K run. Again, go out the out arch and then come in the in arch to go to station 3, which is the sled pull. Not my favorite, but I'm learning some different techniques. Rope control is so important. And I think since going through the training, the level 1 performance training, I have learned that don't put the rope down. So before I would pull, do better, put it off to the side, but I would drop it completely. But then you have to pick it up again. So I'm going to just move my hands up, just hold it in my hand, but also make sure I'm pushing it off to the side. So rope management is so important. Make sure you don't throw your rope in your neighbor's area. That's important. And also when you're pulling and reaching for the rope, there is a white line in front of you. Make sure your feet do not go over that. When you're pulling the rope back, again, I do usually step back and go back. Make sure you're not stepping behind the line behind you. Again, another penalty. So these are some things that you just have to be mindful of your box. And some people may have the upper body strength to just stand there and pull. That's not me. But figure out what works for you. But rope management is important so that you're not fumbling and stepping all over the rope. And then that's usually 4 lanes. So you'll go pull it and then pull it the other way, pull it again, and then leave it on the other side. Again, know how many times you need to do everything. And then you run through the rock zone, run out, come back in, and then we have burpees. I don't mind burpees. Some people despise burpees, but I'm okay with burpees. I like to get better at burpees and not break as much. So that's why one of the reasons why I try and incorporate it in, even if it's not a HYROX day, just getting better at strengthening my own body and getting myself up off the ground and going and building that endurance in burpees. Just make sure your chest touches ground. That's the most important thing. And then when you jump, make sure your feet are together, your hands, I think it can be 5 inches ahead, just make sure and you're not putting your hands out too far on where you can place it. But I'll monitor a little bit ahead of my feet and then I jump down. Now for burpees, a technique, I always step up. I jump down and then I do one leg and then the other leg and then stand up. And also make sure you jump while your body is bent. Don't stand up and then jump. Use that momentum of you coming off the floor. Again, don't stand all the way up. You're wasting energy. But always one leg, and I'll show some video clips of some races, but always one leg up, the other leg, jump while I'm still bent. And I recently saw where some people will, once you go down, you'll bring your knee up and then bring the other knee up and then stand up. I don't know. I don't think I've tried that, but maybe I'll see in these next 2 weeks if I practice that and if I want to add it. If not, I'm okay with alternating on bringing my foot up and then jumping, not jumping up with both feet. Again, more wasted energy. That's station 4. Again, one more 1K run. You go into the You go into the ski erg. Same thing as not the ski erg. You go into the row. Same thing as a ski, 500-meter split time, get into a good rhythm and pace. Now, typically, Orange Theory coaching there, it's all about the legs. Going through the training, it said use more of your upper body, to help you with the row. I'm going to see, I'm going to try out these different techniques. Again, I'm not an elite athlete. It's just, I love the sport. So if I shave off a couple minutes off my time, amazing. But it won't be the end of the world if I don't, I can improve the next one. But I want to try out some different things and see overall by the end of the season, like what worked for me. And you don't know until you try. I can tell you all these things, but you don't know what's going to be best for you until you actually get out there and do it. Same as a ski on the rower, get a steady rhythm, 500-meter split time, times that by 2. That'll tell you about how long it's going to take you to finish the row. And then again, as I mentioned, after my burpees and right before my row, that's when I take a gel. Then I do one more run, and then it's farmer's carry. It's almost like a break after all the things you've done. I usually get that done in like right under 1:59, like right under 2 minutes. And I don't put it down at all. And I try and jog a little bit. It doesn't work as great. I do want to get better and shave off more time. If I get it at like 140 something, that would be great. Or even 150, that would be great. But it's always usually 2 laps. I think every time I've done it, it's always been 2 laps. Just make sure you're mindful of that, because it has a little, just like when you start, it has a little strip that can calculate and tell if you've crossed it twice. Just be mindful of that. And then make sure you put the kettlebells back where you got it. You don't want to get penalized for just throwing them down or not putting them in the right spot. Yeah, see if you can get through it without putting the weight down. But if you need to, that is one thing you can put down. So put it down, stretch out your arms, and then continue. Then you run one more 8K, and then you go in for lunges. I try and keep moving through the lunges. Make sure your knee has to touch the ground, okay? Knee has to touch the ground, and I just try and keep walking through the entire, collect myself if I need to, but alternating your legs. You cannot put that bag down. Do not put that bag down. I think now it might be penalty. Just know the rules. Don't put the bag down if you don't have to. I don't even think you can like rest it on your feet or anything like that. Just hold on to it. Again, stretch out your arm if you need to. Just don't put it down. So lunges, knee touches the ground, alternate. Make sure usually those are not laps. Usually it's like down one side, down the other side, depending on the length, or it could be 4. So it could be 4 lengths, but that's not hard to mess up. And then one more 5K. Every time I go into my last, not 5K, one more 1K. Every time I go into my last 1K, I'm like, one more run. It's so many videos that you got me on camera. Or if I'm doing my lunges, I'm like, and Tavis is right there. I'm like, one more run, because I'm like, I did it. And it's so crazy. Like, okay, let me just finish and then I'll tell you all about the mental game. But then after that, it's wall ball, which I don't mind wall ball. I've gotten better at it. Make sure your feet are wide so that you have a wider base so your butt can go below parallel. Just don't make sure your feet are together. That's one thing. I think in Atlanta, somebody had told Antavis that because he was having issues with his not getting low enough. And she was like, widen your feet. And that made all the difference. Even in my mind, I'm just scared about my knee, but I've been doing some rehab. I've been getting tape. So I'm not as worried about it. I practice the wall ball. I try and rep it out. You got to figure out what works for you. And you may go even in any of this with a game plan. It could change as you go. So be okay with it changing. Even if you're solo, if you're with a partner, game plan, highly recommend, but also be flexible. So I try and like rep out as many as I can until I need a break. I try and figure out like, is it mental or do I physically need a break? And I usually pump out about at least 20. I don't think I'd do less than that when I start 20, 25. And then, okay, catch myself, break, and then go and try and rep them out and try and go. Like the 5, break it up, 5 rest. No, I just try and like knock it out. And as I get to the end, I'm like, okay, I got it. And especially if I'm trying to PR, when I was in DC, like I was going. And so, yes. And then after that, you get your 100. Again, make sure you get it and just run to that finish line and it's over. Such a sense of accomplishment and victory. All the training, all the nerves, everything, and it's over. But I want to talk about the mental game. So for me, like some of the emotions you go through, you're like, oh my God, what have I signed up for? That's a true emotion. And then like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I don't have to. This is a choice. But then I also, as I'm going, especially when I get like around halfway through or even a couple stations, I'm like, or no, more than halfway through, because I'm like, I got more behind me than I do in front of me. Like, it's so a mental game as you're running. And if you can remember somebody in your heat, which has also helped, just like one of 5K races, if I see like an older person, I'm like, they are not going to beat me. So if you see somebody in your heat, you're like, okay, who started with you? I try and pay attention and find at least one person, but then I also don't want to get in my head. So I'm like, if they're way ahead of me, if I don't see anybody, I don't want to have to think about that. But I'm pretty mentally strong now that I'm doing it. And the crazy thing is, like, it's every 10 minutes there's a heat. So when you're running with somebody, it's completely different from a 5K. You all start at the same time. But when you're doing HYROX, like, you have no idea where anybody is unless you remember somebody's face from your heat. So people are just, they could be on their first lap. They could be on their last lap. Like, you're just running your race. That's the one thing one of the things that I love about HYROX is that you're focusing on you. Like, it's your race. So you have no idea where anybody else is unless you remember them from your heat. So just try and focus on you, mental game, be strong about it. Like, you don't, like what Jess Sims and Peloton says, you don't have to, you get to. Like, you get to do this. You're physically able and capable of doing it. It's for all ages, sizes, races. Like, you'll see a gamut of everybody. And then they have the adaptive division. It's pretty cool. As I mentioned in one of my video, I think yesterday, that like I would love to train. Luna is going to be 8 in March, so she'll get to do Atlanta in April. I'd love to train her for that. And then as I'm starting this training program at this local gym, like, I'd love to train someone older, like 70, 80, 90, like, who is going to go to HYROX, and I'll do it with them. So yes, just run your race. It's fun. It's a sense of accomplishment. Running, working out for an hour and a half or however long it takes you, whatever it is, volunteering, it's so cool. You get to cheer on people, and like, you know, you'll see where people like, they helped me get through it. Again, it's such a sense of accomplishment. Okay. One of the things that I learned immediately after, don't sit down. You'll run through, it's on stage, and then some people lay out whatever they need to collect themselves, and then you'll get your patch. There's water at the finish line. There's chairs there, but keep moving. Like, I cramped. The first time I cramped was Atlanta, and I felt the ripples. This is before I was taking salt, or did I take salt chews? I think I did. My cycle was on. My cycle started the night before HYROX, and I think we did do salt chews then, but that's when I really was mindful of the sodium and how I fuel before my race, because I literally felt my calves like ripple in them right before the last run. And then during the last run, I felt it. And then as soon as I got done, I walked down, I took my picture. And as soon as I turned from taking my picture, like, I cramped up so bad. The medic had, like, it was painful. I'm holding my leg, like, it was painful. And the medic had to come over, gave me some pickle juice. And then, like, you could feel it. Like, she was like, oh my God, like, it's tight. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like my calf swelled up so bad. Just keep moving. I know those chairs are there and they're so tempting. If you can catch your breath, drink some water, keep moving around, fuel properly. And then Phoenix, it happened again. So Atlanta was like Halloween weekend. And then Phoenix, it happened again at the end of January when I was walking up the stadium steps. I took that first step. I got through the pictures, got through everything, was walking to go to my hotel because I had to race because I had to go back to volunteer. As soon as I took that first step, oh my God. And then luckily there were some spectators that were so nice and like blocking people off because I had to, like, I collapsed literally. And I collect myself. I can't recall. I think it eventually worked out. A medic may have come over and give me some stuff. I think they did. Some pickle juice again. And then I learned from there. I haven't had any issues, thankfully, because I've learned to feel my body better for that. So just keep moving. Get your picture done. And then for the pictures, if you prepaid for them, I used to prepay for them. I think it's like $5 you'll save if you prepay. But if not, you'll get them. You'll put your face in the sports graph. I think that has the pictures. And then your pictures will be there for you, and you can purchase all of them, purchase some. I usually purchase them. Lately, I haven't been purchasing the pre-purchasing package, but I always have gotten my pictures, and some are great, some are not so great. Some of the lighting is like trash. Even the final, with your time in the background, I have some that are so dark, and I'm thinking, what is going on? They should make sure the lighting is great, but some of them are great, so it's worth it. I think it's about 40 something bucks. If you pay for them, you'll have a code in wallets or in your receipt or in the website for you to copy and paste. So don't pay again, even though like go through it, get all your pictures, and then it'll ask about payment, but just paste your code in there. So keep that in mind if you are looking for your pictures. And that usually takes about, depending on the race, sometimes they're on it, sometimes not. So just be patient with them. You can always get a notification of when your pictures are available. I always usually go to the website, the Sports Graph, I think it is, website, and then put in my email, the one that you use to register, and put it in. And then they'll give you another notification that your pictures have been uploaded. And that takes 2-3 days. Some races, it's the next day. Usually early on, if you race the first or second day, you get them pretty quickly. And as the weekend goes, it takes a little bit longer. Just be patient. You'll get your pictures. And then afterwards, like the day after, I want to say when we did California, because we went into Disney afterwards the next day, we weren't as sore. Now, granted, 2 days later, of course, you're going to be sore, but we weren't as sore because we walked a lot the next day after our race for Disney. So it kept our legs moving. I highly recommend, don't just, okay, the race is over, I'm lazy, I'm stiff, I'm not moving. No, even if you just walk outside, even if you walk on a treadmill, wherever, just keep moving. Figure out what recovery you need for your body, whether it's a massage, whether it's red light therapy, whether it's leg compression, ice baths, whatever you need, just recover and keep moving. Don't stop just because your race is over. Keep your body moving so that you don't tense up and you're not sore. Now, you will be sore for days, but try and work through it and keep your body moving. But give your body also time to rest and recover. You just put it through a lot. Now, these people that do multiple races in the weekend, kudos and hats off to you. These pros are so impressive. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I don't even know if I will ever be there, but my body needs some rest and recovery. I'm usually when I was coaching, I'm this screen, this is what we're doing. I don't got much for you. So just be mindful in what your body needs to recover. I think that's a good overview of really what to expect from HYROX. And I know it can seem overwhelming, but when you have a plan and you start looking ahead and preparing or getting an idea, it doesn't seem as overwhelming. And I say that, but the nerves, of course, will naturally happen. But just do the things that I said. Look at the venue map. You'll get your race time. Make sure you have enough fuel. Prepare, run, train on fatigue legs, whatever you need to do to get your body ready for race day. Do that ahead of time. Mentally prepare whatever you need to do. Oh, and I do want to mention also, I've done solo, I've done women's doubles, I've done mixed doubles. You can split that up however you want to. The stations, I forgot to mention that. You can split it however you want. The ski, you can do 250 or you can do 500 and then switch however you want it, or you can do 100 at a time, but just your partner has to be behind you, not on the mat. And then once you let go of the handles, you have to release them and then they have to grab them themselves. You can't hand them to them. That's one thing for the ski. Same thing with the rower. You can split that however you want. All the stations you can split however you want. Burpees, you can split. Burpees, you're standing in front of the person. You're not standing behind them looking at the rep count. You're standing in front of them. So keep that in mind. But the judges there will tell you to stand in front of them. The sled pull, you cannot be in the box. You can't touch the rope. Do not touch the rope. I've judged that station, but you can stand behind them. And a lot of people will stand here so that when they're pulling, they touch you, they'll hit you so that they don't go over the line. Just be mindful of it when you grab it in front of you. But again, your partner can be there, but they can't touch the rope, but they can be there to prevent you from stepping in the back of the line. And again, y'all have to stay together. Even with your runs, you have to stay within a certain distance as well with your partner when you're running. So keep that in mind. I think that's the only stations as far as sandbags. Be mindful, do not put the bag down. You have to hand it to your partner. We usually do back to back and we'll grab it. The farmer's carry you can put down and they can grab it and go, or we usually do one lap and then the other person grabs it and does the other lap. So just again, game plan, but be okay with being flexible, because it was one video where we were doing burpees, and then I had been doing them, and then I'm like, all right, move to the side. Aren't you ready? And Maya was like, mm-mm. And I'm like, oh my God. So I started back again. So just be flexible, because race day, you don't know who's going to have it and who's not going to have it. And you have to be okay with that. All right. So I think you're ready. Like, now it's time to sign up. Oh, I should probably do a whole nother video on sign up, but I'm going to try and get through this quickly because it's already a long video, but it's great information. I think if you are looking at getting into HYROX, they'll have a pre-sale and then the public sale. If you're part of affiliate gym, or if you volunteered, you'll get a pre-sale link and code. And you can only use it, say if you're affiliate gym, whatever the link you have, that code can only be used for that. Volunteer, I can't use it for an affiliate gym link. I have to go through the volunteer code or volunteer link, but you get pre-sale usually 2 days before it goes on sale to the public. It will sell out. Like, HYROX is just that sport. Like, it's so popular. Everybody wants to do it. Unless you're somewhere where it's not, most of these, the day within minutes, like, it seems as though it sells out. Now, me, I want a ticket. So I have my computer, my laptop, my phone. I have every device open because I want my ticket. Some people frown upon that. You got to do what's best for you. And even with the pre-sale, you're not guaranteed to get a ticket. For DC and Tampa, I have a volunteer code. I did not get the pre-sale, but I did get it when it went on sale for the public. So just keep that in mind. This is not something last minute you want to do. Now you can buy the Flex Lite. Because I volunteer, I get a free code every time I volunteer. So before I didn't do any Flex or anything, but now I do the Lite, so I can at least do a name change. And that's the only thing you can do with the Lite. And I think it's like $20. I want that safeguard now. But with the full Flex, I think you can get your money back within 30 days, and then 7 days, I think it's like half off. Just read up on that. But you can either do Lite or full Flex, whatever works best for you to protect you and your ticket. Now, if you don't do anything, I don't care what comes up, they're not going to give you your money back. So you can think, oh, military, oh, death. HYROX is not going to, if they do respond, you're not getting your money back, because you have the option to add on for that safeguard. Unfortunately, it's a business, and that's just how it is. So if you want to risk it, you have the risk of losing your money. Tickets are hard to come by. You just got to be ready at the time or before they go on sale. Do not wait and think you're going to get a ticket. But there are true legit websites that have tickets. I forgot, like HYROX tickets or something like that. That people, if they have the Flex, they get their money back. So the tickets become available. Check the website every now and then to see if you can get a ticket. That's also an option. But just make sure, either pre-sale if you're part of an affiliate gym, or you have a affiliate coach like myself. I get pre-sales now that because I'm a part of their affiliate program. I have the pre-sale link and the code they send me. Just be ready to buy your ticket. So we've said all this. Just know that it's fun. It's a challenge. It's worth it. It's so rewarding. And you don't have to be the fastest or the strongest. Just train consistently, practice your pacing and fueling, and show up prepared for your race. If you have HYROX coming up, I'd love to know which race that you have coming up. So far this year, I'm doing DC, Tampa, and Nashville. Hope to get Atlanta. And I have a girlfriend that lives in Portland, Oregon, so I want to do Portland, but I'm hoping another one before that, because that's a long time to wait. So hopefully I'll add some other ones. See, Chicago. Yeah, Chicago just went on sale, or was going on sale. I didn't get tickets. Was it Chicago? Yeah. I think it was Chicago that went on sale. I didn't get tickets for that, but I'm hoping to do maybe Phoenix. Phoenix was pretty cool. Maybe I'll go back to Phoenix. We'll see. But for sure, those 3. I did 7 last season and 1 the season before that. 8 total. So far I have 3. Atlanta will be 4 for sure. But if I can get in 1 or 2 more cities, I'm like, okay, 6. We didn't do 7, but we did 6. I'm not sure if I'll go back to New York. I did doubles with Maya and it was outside. Maybe I'll do solo, but New York is so expensive. Okay. We'll see. But if you're doing one, I'd love to know. If you have any questions, please comment. I'll share whatever knowledge I have. Again, I'm not an expert, just someone that loves HYROX, fell in love with the sport, and Lord willing, as long as I can continue to do it, I will be doing it. And hopefully I'll see you at a future HYROX.